Hello everyone, how's everyone doing? You guys doing good too? I'm doing good too. Let's get on today's video session. Here we go. Yeah, how do you like my rock and roll music? As always on my channel. So welcome back on my video session today. So we're gonna go a bit more into Nintendo Switch Pro. You're probably thinking why keep on making videos that are like similar styles. They're not similar. They're getting more complex. Okay, day by day. So the session is still on Nintendo Switch Pro. There is not enough to talk about in today's session, I'm afraid, but whatever I got. Right, Nintendo says, right, this is what Nintendo is saying, right? There are no plans, right, after the Nintendo Switch QLED model. Okay, and also I want to confirm that as we've been listening, the Nintendo Switch Pro is supposed to bring us improved performance and features. Okay, we all know that. That is what Nintendo is saying. I'm going to give you a lot of my own feedback today, what I think can actually what's going behind the doors of Nintendo and what are they thinking of. Now, Nintendo is saying that there are no plans after Nintendo Switch QLED model. What do you think was going on there? Literally, the Nintendo Switch we got right now, if we look back at Sony PS4 and Microsoft Xbox One, they were struggling against the Nintendo Switch sales. Now, this is quite a big thing because if we look at the Sony PS4 and Microsoft Xbox One were way ahead of its release date schedule, and it was released already a few years before even Nintendo Switch came, because I think Sony PS1 and Microsoft Xbox One were released back all the way back from 2013. But if we look at the Nintendo Switch, the one we got right now, it was released in March 2017. It came after a few years later. But the thing is that if we look at this, now the Sony PS4 and Microsoft Xbox One, they were more advanced and they still couldn't beat the Nintendo Switch, because Nintendo Switch approaches a different audience, doesn't it? The way I'm looking at the audience it approaches, it's literally pretty different. Because when we even look at the system, the way it was brought to us, you know, even when you pick up an Argus catalog, or even you go on the Argus online site, because that's the one I actually saw, what I've seen in there. What do you actually see on Nintendo Switch? You will see handheld tabletop TV mode. It will say things like that. Look how many different styles of play it uses, and the audience that it will go front of these kind of people, because it can go an audience of handheld. So what can that mean? The handheld market where you can hold it in your hand and play like that. You can go in the audience. Then tabletop, where you could see anywhere, college, universities, in the office, the restaurants, cafes. You can have the system right in front of you. Get the controller, get some friends around, and tabletop mode, and you can play multiplayer games. Absolutely amazing. Then you got TV. How does that work? The TV works when you dock it into the docking station. It's like a rectangular thing, and you just place it in. And when you place it in, it becomes a games console. Handheld, tabletop, TV. It's incredible. 3 different audiences. I really think it's like that. The way it approaches, yeah. You get 3 different styles of play and 3 different audience comes out of it, doesn't it? Sony PS4 and Microsoft Xbox One only has the approach for TV. Nothing else. It doesn't do nothing else whatsoever. Okay? This is out of the box. Nintendo Switch is out of the box. Okay? We're not buying any third party accessories and connecting it, putting on displays and all that. No, we're not doing that. It's all from the box. It does 3 things, just like that. And because of that, and having top of like Nintendo exclusive games, it became tops. Further along, Sony and Microsoft are making things up. They keep on making things about the PS5 and Xbox Series X. What do you want to say? Shortage. There's not that many systems to go around. Whoa. What about the Sony PS4 and Microsoft Xbox One? Did you have shortages then? Why can you succeed at that time then? There's no shortages then. They're making excuses. Because the same momentum that was going from that era is still working. It's still working. Right now, the original Nintendo Switch is still winning. It's doing really well. It's doing really well. It's still selling well, and yeah, we all know that. Then Nintendo is trying to release a Nintendo Switch QLED model. 8th October. 8th October gets Nintendo Switch QLED model to the UK market. Okay, for £309.99. Nintendo Store and August. It's happening. Now the problem with Nintendo Switch QLED model, obviously discussion is not about that. It's the same system, right? It's just better display and features just added to the system. But if you think about it, if you really want a 7-inch large display, of course, large display 7-inch, better picture quality, yeah, vivid colors and better contrast. You'll get that out of this system from the display, which the original one didn't have that. I think it's gonna look more nicer, isn't it? When we look at the actual display. Okay, maybe nothing else. And then you got the internal memory, 64 GB, where you can put more games into the system. Nintendo Switch and digital downloads, the internal 64 GB. Then you got an Ethernet port, which is on the dock, gives you a fast internet speed. And finally a kickstand, which gives you many viewing angles right to the bottom. You get all these kind of things from the Nintendo Switch QLED model. Yeah, it does all that. which the original ones didn't have any of these. So what do you make out of that? Nintendo Switch QLED is the next model. And it has all sorts of these 4 things in there. 4 features. It's features, but no 4K resolutions and no new hardware. It doesn't have any of that, okay? But in terms of features, it looks pretty interesting device. It said if anybody doesn't own a Nintendo Switch right now, you can get this Nintendo Switch QLED. So on 9th October, Nintendo Switch QLED model, you can go and get that, and you get these amazing features. It's really good because, like, even if it's not like a 4K resolution and no new hardware, it don't matter, because if you don't even own the Nintendo Switch anyway, you can get this Nintendo Switch QLED model and you get all these 4 features out of it, which is really, really cool. And then the next system will be Nintendo Switch Pro, and the follow-up will be Nintendo Switch 2, which I told you in my previous video. We're not going to go into Nintendo Switch 2 anyway, so let's ignore that. Right. For certain, the Nintendo Switch is a best-selling system, right? How it's going to shape up with the Nintendo Switch QLED model, I can't say that right now. Will people be interested to buy the same system, right, with 4 features? Will anybody be interested in that? I don't know about that. Only time will tell if anybody will be interested in all that. I do say that if anybody doesn't own the Nintendo Switch right now, it's a great opportunity to get one right now. But the thing is, the people who are waiting for Nintendo Switch Pro, that's supposed to come out this year. It didn't happen, yeah? Okay, I know, that's disappointing. But instead, Nintendo goes on Nintendo Switch QLED model. He goes and releases that. I think most majority people probably wouldn't buy Nintendo Switch QLED model, because a lot of people are too much into 4K resolution, better performances, and newer hardware, aren't they? They want stuff like that, and this model won't give you that. The one coming out 8th October Nintendo Switch QLED model, it's not going to give you all that. But if you're that person who still doesn't own Nintendo Switch and you really, really want it badly, you're going to get 4 features out of it. What do you say that's a good thing? Because if you don't even own it, I know you was waiting with a Nintendo Switch Pro and it didn't happen, but that doesn't matter. Well, this Nintendo Switch, which they're going to release 8th October, Nintendo Switch QLED model, you'll get 4 features out of it. Now let's go into the Nintendo Switch Pro. Why isn't this system coming out, and why is Nintendo not saying anything about it? Because as I just said, Nintendo says that there are no plans out in Nintendo Switch QLED model to release any of the next Nintendo games console. There isn't. You see, Nintendo is really confident. He's flashed down 4 systems already. 2 are Sony PS4, Sony PS5. The original Nintendo Switch is beating them. Yeah? It's doing quite well. Then Microsoft Xbox One, Microsoft Xbox Series X is beating that as well. The original Nintendo Switch is doing that. Come on, man. That's amazing. It's just destroying them completely. I'm thinking, when there is a Nintendo Switch QLED model, what will happen with that? If more better sales happen, even we're getting the same hardware with 4 features, this will be massive. I just gotta see how people think of this Nintendo Switch QLED model, if it sells or not. Will it sell? Only time will tell. So we know the original one is doing powerful rounds. Nintendo Switch QLED model, we still got a bit of time to see the test of that. how that thing is going to shape up to. Nintendo is so confident that we don't need Nintendo Switch Pro. They don't want to release it right now. And they don't want to talk about it. They're keeping the whole system a secret. Because the competition isn't swift, is it? The very first Nintendo Switch is doing really powerful rounds. And that's why Nintendo Switch Pro is not coming out. It's actually more than that. Because if Nintendo Switch, right, keeps on selling really well, and then Nintendo Switch QLED model sells even better. Whoa. What are you going to say about that? That'd be crazy. If Nintendo Switch QLED model can sell even better than the original Nintendo Switch. That'd be crazy. If that starts happening, I doubt it that Nintendo Switch Pro will come anytime soon. It probably won't. If we look at the way Nintendo is thinking, he's not telling us anything. Nintendo Switch Pro will come out in few years. 1 or 2 years time probably. Yeah? Approximately the maximum will be 2 years. Minimum can be 1 year. What kind of release dates are we looking at this system? Because they need to keep on the momentum going on Nintendo Switch, don't they? 2022, 2023. These are the years we're looking for Nintendo Switch Pro. Yeah. If we're lucky enough, if Nintendo is even going to release that thing in 2022, I mean, some say that it could come out in 2022. I will be honest with you, I doubt that. Why do I say that? If the Nintendo Switch Pro is going to come out in 2022, then that's only going to happen when the Nintendo Switch sales are going down. And that includes the Nintendo Switch QLED model. You gotta think that if Nintendo Switch, the original one, is selling so well, and then Nintendo goes and puts a Nintendo Switch QLED model, what about that sells even more better than the first one? Trust me, man. If that starts selling really well, even with just the features, then I doubt the Nintendo Switch Pro will ever come out in 2022. Then they don't need it. Why do they need it? Because if the Nintendo Switch QLED model is doing really well, then the Nintendo Switch Pro doesn't need to come out. Because the whole thing about Nintendo, what he's focusing on, it's about the sales he's looking at, isn't it, really? Because the way the original system was brought out by Nintendo, he wanted some sales, man. He wanted a strong system that can sell to the market, gaming market. And that's what's been happening. If you can get good sales, then why does he need to release another one? They don't need to make another one, really. And I do say, at this stage, the Nintendo Switch QLED model does sell very well. Even more advanced than the original one. Then I have doubts that the Nintendo Switch Pro will never come out in 2022. Another date that was brought onto the website was for Nintendo Switch Pro was March 2023. Okay, that can be more specific date, I can say. Yeah, because when Nintendo releases another system, he can let the momentum go on another for 2 years. Yeah, that can happen. That can be truthful. I can probably agree with that one. I mean, looking at this time frame, it's difficult to decide if Nintendo Switch Pro will it come in 2022 or 2023. it's gonna be determined the sales of Nintendo Switch QLED model. Trust me, it's gonna be like that. It's gonna be on that. Because eventually the original Nintendo Switch, rapidly sales will start going down. It's getting a bit old, isn't it? And that's why Nintendo just quickly released. He's taking the game slow and steady, you know. He's not just going straight away to a powerful hardware. He's not doing that. They don't want to do that. They think it's not a right way of doing things. I totally agree with that. What Nintendo's doing, they shouldn't be releasing powerful hardware straight away. Because if the minimum hardwares are doing the rounds, why do you need a really powerful hardware and start releasing to the market? No point. If I was Nintendo, I would have done the same. Trust me, I would have done the same. As Shigeru Miyamoto did say, the Mario creator or Star Fox creator, whatever you want to say it, he wasn't happy with Nintendo's decisions, what was going with the company. He said that Nintendo Wii U, right, was a HD system. Now the gamepad was a non-HD, wasn't it? That was a 480p on screen when we played the gamepad. But you know, when we connected to the TV, the Wii U, it was a 1080p HD resolution. Yeah, 1080p HD resolution. They were already on there. And Nintendo Wii wasn't. That's a non-HD. Wii U was a HD system, wasn't it? Okay. Now the Nintendo Switch is the same as well. But Nintendo Switch is a bit more advanced, I would say. On the handheld mode is a 720p HD. Again, like Wii U, the TV I was a dock, is 1080p HD resolution. Similar thing like that. But even it's 720p and 1080p HD, the system has a more powerful hardware. If you compare the specification of Wii U and Nintendo Switch, Wii U is not comparable to Nintendo Switch. No, Nintendo Switch is more powerful. It's far more powerful. The Nintendo Wii U was 30% more powerful than Sony PlayStation 3, wasn't it? And similar like the Microsoft Xbox 360 as well. It was, you know. It was more advanced. But the Nintendo Switch is more advanced than that. More percentage. I can't confirm that, but it's far more advanced. You can just tell. Because like every single game they're releasing, like Zelda Breath of the Wild, Mario Kart 8, Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze, Splatoon, they all look better. And Hyrule Warriors, they all look better on the Nintendo Switch than the Wii U. The graphics looks far better. They look loads better. The same games that were released on Nintendo Wii and Nintendo Switch, yeah, they look loads better. So now, as Shigeru Miyamoto does want to strive for HD systems, that's what he said. But right this stage, we're not going to get much higher HD out of it. That's not going to happen. Because with the Nintendo Switch QLED model, it's the same hardware. 720p HD, 1080p HD resolution. Same. Nintendo Switch QLED model is going to be doing the same thing. Okay, it's going to stay on that resolution technology, yeah? Nothing is going to change till Nintendo Switch Pro doesn't come out. Some people are saying the Nintendo Switch Pro is a QLED screen. I don't think it is. It's going to be a mini LED display, okay? It's going to be that. Also, I will confirm right now what we are looking at right now in Nintendo Switch Pro. Handheld mode will still be 720p HD. And when it's docked, the TV out will be 4K resolution. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, that's the one that's going to be into 720p and 4K resolution. Right now, that's the thing that is being talked about at that resolution. I wonder if the handheld will get higher than 720p HD. I don't prefer 720p HD from Nintendo Switch anymore. I would prefer if they can turn the handheld mode into 1080p HD. That'd be lots better. And the other side, they're talking about TV out, 4K resolution. That's excellent. That's excellent. But I think they need to change the 720 to 1080p. Well, that's my saying. But right now, it's still on 720. Okay? So there you have it. That's the resolution bar. Now, as I said, the Nintendo Switch Pro will be determined from the Nintendo Switch QLED model sales. How powerful the sales will, we're only gonna find out when it comes on 8th October. This was very, very strange. You know, when the original Nintendo Switch came out, oh blimey, it's been sold out straight away. Straight away. Really powerful sales. And it just went shooting off to the market just like that. It started selling really well. And with that Mario Kart 8 game, I got good sales, man. Can the Nintendo Switch QLED model do the same or even better? It's hard to say right now. But with the 4 added features, can that change anything? I mean, that is Nintendo's strategy, isn't it? Do you get it? The original Nintendo Switch had 3 styles of play. Handheld, tabletop, TV. That's what sold it the most. That's what it was. And also you have the Nintendo Wii. You know, all that Wii, you know, Wii remote and nunchuck style. Is all there as well. So that followed it as well on the Nintendo Switch. That did it over. And now the next question is Nintendo Switch QLED model. The 4 features. Will that change anything? That's the point. But if it does, if the thing does sell very well, and that's the strategy that Nintendo is thinking of. They reckon these 4 features alone will sell the Nintendo Switch. Oh, but it's still the same hardware, isn't it? But same hardware, 4 features. Who knows? If anybody out there still doesn't own one, and they think, oh yeah, well it's the same hardware, but if we get 4 features out of it. You know what? For me, oh, I did not say something else. Actually missed out. It's got an enhanced audio from the stereo speakers. It's got also that. I think, look at all these features they're adding in there. Looks quite interesting. Looks quite interesting. The design looks nice. Okay, the G-cons, everything else looks the same. It looks quite beautiful, the design. And all these features in there. Now, let's look at all these features. How Nintendo is trying to shape up this thing. 7-inch screen size, large screen display, better picture quality, vivid colors, okay, enhanced audio, internal 64 GB SSD, Ethernet port for fast internet speed, kickstand. All of these things for our new customers for Nintendo Switch QLED model will get all of these new features in this new system. So this new system releases on 8th October. The system is called Nintendo Switch QLED model. You can get it from Nintendo Store and Argus Store as well. In the UK market, it will be priced at £309.99. There you have it. So that's Nintendo's strategy. After that, Nintendo next system will be the Nintendo Switch Pro. Right now, there are no plans to release that thing. It's hard to say when it will ever be released. please take this thing in a serious concept. Nintendo is taking it slowly and steady. Okay? He's not gonna just give you a system like that and throw it at your face. It doesn't work like that with Nintendo, okay? Nintendo always works from the bottom and it reaches to the top. Okay? It's a clever company, the way they think things. First of all, Nintendo gave us Nintendo 64, yeah? Nintendo 64 was a powerful 3D hardware graphics. Then he moved on to Nintendo GameCube. Nintendo GameCube was a far advanced system than the N64. But in my opinion, in terms of gaming, I think Nintendo GameCube still stands one of the best gaming PC or hardware from Nintendo. Why do I say that? Because it still has the best Nintendo exclusives that still Nintendo Wii still doesn't know. So Nintendo Wii came out, then Nintendo Wii gave us the Wii Remote and Nunchuck, the dancing stuff and all that stuff. That was on Nintendo Wii. Then Nintendo Wii U came out, which gave us a gamepad. You could play your games on there, you could stream your videos, you could watch Netflix on that little gamepad thing, and then TV out, 1080p HD. And now the Nintendo Switch. Nintendo Switch all the way. But if we look at one of the best system from Nintendo has to be the Nintendo GameCube, in my opinion. It doesn't matter how many Nintendo Switch come out, but it still doesn't have the same level as Nintendo GameCube when it comes to Nintendo exclusive games. And that's why still loads of people want to buy the Panasonic Q games console. The reason why the Panasonic Q still people would buy, because Panasonic is giving you the multimedia features, and on Nintendo's side you get the Nintendo GameCube. Both sides are really advanced when it comes from Panasonic Q. So anyway, what you guys think of my information today? Do you guys like it, what I'm saying? Do you believe what I'm saying? Because like the way the strategy Nintendo is thinking, do you really think he's taking it slow and steady? He doesn't want to give you a Nintendo Switch Pro, neither the Nintendo Switch 2. Whoa, you ain't gonna get that for a long time, Nintendo Switch 2, I tell you that. You ain't gonna get that for a long time. I want to hear from you guys. Give me your comments, please. Right below the comments, give me your comments. What do you guys think? Do you think that Nintendo Switch Pro didn't come out was a good idea? Or do you think the way Nintendo is thinking, he's playing the game in a slow paced way, releasing a Nintendo Switch QLED model, is that a better idea? I'll leave that to you guys out there to decide, because you guys are the customers, aren't you? Nintendo is selling the system to you guys, and you guys are the customers, right? He's playing a sales game, right? So you guys can buy the new system if you guys like that. I mean, he's trying to give you a system that the customers will like. Yeah? Are the customers really gonna like this system this time around? Who knows? I have no idea. I am here to just give you information. So I am very delighted that Nintendo didn't ignore us. You gotta think about that. You should be happy of Nintendo, because you know why? He could have ignored us. He could have he probably would have said, no, I'm not going to release nothing on 8th October either. Forget the Nintendo Switch QLED. Well, I'm not going to release that either. He could have, you know what, think about it. The Nintendo Switch Pro is supposed to be releasing in September. I think October time, this year. But instead, 8th October, Nintendo Switch QLED model's coming out. Yeah? And now, that's it. I don't know, I have got nothing more to say about it. So, I'll leave this you guys to decide. What you guys will decide. Will you guys pick up the Nintendo Switch QLED model? So on 8th October, would you pick up the Nintendo Switch QLED model? for the features he's given us, do you think it's worth it to buy? If you ask me, okay, there's no 4K resolution, is no new hardware. We all know that. Personally, I would say it's a good system. It is a good system, but it's not a replacement for the people who are already on the Nintendo Switch. It won't be a replacement for them. No, I don't think the people who already own this thing should buy this thing. Yeah, that's my opinion. But I think the people who do not own the Nintendo Switch QLED, the people who do not own the original Nintendo Switch system can buy this Nintendo Switch QLED model with these features. Yeah, and I think these customers out there who still don't own one, you got opportunity to get even a better system. I think it's a better system than the original Nintendo Switch. Wouldn't you say? Because, come on man, these features, right, that the Nintendo Switch QLED models coming up with, they're not even in the original Nintendo Switch. Why don't people think like that? Rather than keep on thinking, oh, there's no 4K resolution, oh, there's no new hardware. So what? You're getting new features out of it. Come on guys, lap it up. Let's do this. Let's get this thing, man, wide open, crack it open, man, to the public, to the UK market, to all around the world, wherever you are, wherever it's coming out. It's going to come all around the world. Yeah? So yeah, check it out, man. There you go, man. Give your likes, comment, subscribe. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.